Dave here, how are you? Today on the show we're going to continue with this gate project. Now this is my sexy garden gate. Now isn't that looking magic? I've got started on it big time. I've finished one full leaf and it's swung. The posts are all done. I've got to put one more lick of paint on them. I've got the receiver over on this side to swing the other gate, and that's what we're going to do. Talking about the other gate, come through, back in here, and you'll see this is the other gate right here, and that's what we're going to build on the show today. And we'll get it glued up, do all the joinery on it. It'll be interesting. It's going to run for about 2 or 3 hours, the show, and we'll have some fun. These are other posts for the rest of the fence that I'm going to do around the back. See you soon. Dave here, how are you? Dave here, how are you? Today is the 9th of April 2023. You'll notice that I've moved the camera around in the workshop here because this is where we're going to be doing everything. I've moved the Stanton bench off there. I've just got the large work surface with a tarp over the top because I will be doing some gluing with epoxies, and rather than try and clean it off the bench top, why not just put some protection down, and that will save us a whole lot of mucking around. Okay, so you saw the first leaf of the gate. I've totally finished, and today I will take you through creating this top section of the rail. This is the template that we made last week. I'll bond it onto this, and we'll take it over to the bandsaw, take the bulk off, take it over to the pattern following bit on the router table, dress it all up really, really nicely. We're going to then put it in position. I'll do a temporary clamp up, mark it all for the dominoes. I'm putting 3 dominoes per joint. They're going to penetrate 50 millimeters into each member, so 50 into the stiles, 50 into the rails, and so the 100 mil by 12 mil. Then we'll keep it, put all the dominoes in, possibly, maybe not. We'll just clamp it all up, and then we'll measure and cut the top rail again for all of the balusters to go into, and I will take you through all of the process. It's going to be around about a 3-hour show. If you're wanting to just drop in and have a look as you're going along through Easter Sunday or Easter Sunday Eve, depending on where you are in the world, fine, that's not a problem. I won't be offended. And it would be good to get some figures up there, like if we can get 100 people watching at once during this, because it's going to be a long show. I'm putting a lot of effort into it, and if you do like it, please give me a thumbs up. That really encourages me to keep going with this kind of stuff. I'm going to show you an awful lot of joinery today. You may know about it. You might be a new person having a go at it. Well, you know, I'm not charging you to do this. You're watching for free. The least you can do is do this for me. That'd be great. And if you do want to help me out, there is a link for Patreon down in the video description below. I have increased the volume of the video today, so can you give me some feedback, please, to let me know if the volume is any better than it has been. I'm wanting to make sure that I don't distort. I can push the volume up higher, but I don't want it to get rasping and distorting. So put a comment in the comments section there, or even after the show, you can put comments in the comments area below, not in the chat. So feel free, jump into the chat, jump into the comments after, and let me know what you think of this kind of format. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea. That said, let's get into it. All right, well, what I'm going to do first of all is I'll go to Carl Cam, and then we'll just look straight down on this, because we do have to work on this piece first. Now, Carl is actually with his grandchildren today, so it may not be here. We'll see what happens. There we go. I haven't got it on Zoom. There it is. Give me a second. I'll grab some blue tape and some super glue, and we'll take it from there. Now remember, last week, where's that super glue? Pick it up. We wrote on it, join. Now I have to make sure that it's going to be, see it's got join on this end. I have to make sure that it's going to marry up to the other gate. So I'm going to put it over this way, and before I do, I will actually write on here as well, join. Very, very important. So that's where it's going to go pretty much. There and there. I have cut it to length already. Cool, that's good. Now I'm going to do a quick mark on here, like that. And the reason I'm doing that is I could now just cut that if I wanted to, but I'm going to put tape on, blue tape, and I put that mark on there so I know that I can put a piece of blue tape here and a piece of blue tape here, and then I'm going to replicate that on this one and this one. It's going to work quite easily. Dave, I was wondering, Darwin, strange time zone. Sound volume is good, thanks Joe. Volume is just okay, Derek. Okay, what do you mean by just okay? If someone else can talk to that gentleman regarding the time zone in Darwin. We have 3 time zones in Darwin. 3 time zones in Australia. Eastern Standard, Central and West. So Central is for Northern Territory and Adelaide. Then you've got Tasmania, New South Wales and Queensland and Victoria are Eastern. And then you have Western Australia has its own time zone. Because it's a very wide country. I think there's around 2 hours odd difference, maybe 2.5 hours. Correct me if I'm wrong. Dave, some of the states have daylight savings of some sort. Yes, correct. Correct. Okay, so you can see that. Now I'm going to replicate it here. This is a very easy way. Instead of using, don't have a crease because that will ruin you. Instead of using double-sided tape, we're using blue tape and we're going to use super glue. That's for that one. This one is from there to there. From there to there. And across the end. Now this is the way the show is happening today. It's not just bang, bang, bang. There's the finished product. You're actually going to see all the work that goes into it. I'm hoping this is going to be okay. I might have to cut the end off that. Yep, got it. Oh, I've got it on my finger too. That's not fun. Don't use accelerator when you're doing this. It'll bring you undone. You want to have a little bit of time to be able to move the template around on the workpiece so you can get it in exactly the right spot. Until this contacts something, it's not really going to go anywhere. All right, here we go. This is why those lines at the beginning help an awful lot. In position pretty well, and back down a touch. Now I can push down on it. So what I do now is I get another piece of wood and put it on top. And then I can push down. Whoa, it's moving around all over the place. Don't let that happen. Okay, hold it. There we go. There we go. There we go. Let's see what happens. Just holding it. Good. That's good. I can tidy those up just a little bit towards the end if I need to. Has that got it? Sure has. That's great. So my template is now bonded to that piece. All right, back over here. I have a quick read down the side here. John, morning, Dave and all. Happy Easter to everyone. And I'm nearly flat out on your laptop. Okay, volume is fine here in Brisbane. Okay. Paul, morning, Dave and all. Darwin's different. Yes, yes, yes. Well, I'm surprised, Derek. It's just bouncing off the red zone here. If I go any louder, it's going to end up maybe a little bit dodgy. Anyway, I'll tell you what. I'll punch it up a little bit more, and you let me know if it's going to be any good. Let's make it 210. And close. How's that? Is that any better? Hello, Dave. Happy Easter. No, it's the same minutes as Adelaide right now. Okay. You guys, you wear me out. All right, next thing to do is we're taking it over to the bandsaw and we're going to cut out that shape. So I'll switch over to the other camera. Camera 4. All right. I think I'm going to try it on the big bandsaw. I've moved the things around here a little bit. That, and that. And the dust extraction has really improved on the bandsaws since I did the upgrade to the 6-inch and increased the size of the impeller or the motor and all that kind of stuff. I'll take this right off, make it easier. All right, that's looking pretty good. You guys can see all of that. Here we go. Now you may wonder why the wood was cutting at different speeds. It's finger jointed. It was going through different types of grain and density. So it'd be going fast, then it'd go slow, then it'd go fast, then it'd go slow. Even though it's all pine. I'm steering it with both hands. Well, that was close. Whoa, don't hit the template, David. That's annoying. I went from one of the hard pieces of wood to a softer piece, and it did a bit of a hurry up. come out the side, and then we'll come around the back there. I think it's going to be quickest. It'll be all right. That's where sandpaper is our friend. But it nearly got it. See, we came out of this, which was harder, into that. And that's why it did a little hurry up in that spot. Something to keep your eyes open for. And we'll come back to this one. Hey Kyle, how are you? Just waiting for batteries to recharge. I do not print the country they're going to. Chris, they're an Australian product. Proud of it. All good. Okay. I'll try the iPad for comparison. Yes, that is about right. Well, thank you very much. All right, let's go down to the other camera here. I've got the router table set up. I'm just going to adjust the height, so we're going to follow the template now. So the template is this shape here. We're going to clean that lip off. That's this part here. And like at the moment it's all rough and daggy, but it'll be nice and clean. You watch. There we go. Down here. I've still got the crank in here to adjust the height. And you know what? That height's not bad, but I've got to come up just a little bit. And down just a touch. I don't want to be missing the template. Now this is a compression cutter that I've got in there, which means I'll lock that where it is so it can't go anywhere. Gotcha. Which means it's going to be pulling down. It's a spiral upcut, which means it's going to be pulling towards the router at the top, for the top say 6 millimeters, and then all the rest is a spiral down, which means it's pushing away from the router. The rest of the cutters are going to be pushing up. That will give me nice clean edges. I have this little guy here fitted at the moment because when I come in to do the cut, I lever on this. Otherwise, if this wasn't there and I started here and just got it wrong, it could push it back and see it's hitting that. So it's not going to run the risk of pulling my hand into the cutter. It's very important to be as safe as you can with these things. I'll throw some muffs on as well. And get this. I'll just open that blast coat around there for the router table. Now it may or may not pull sawdust, I'm not sure. I haven't got any throat guards in there at the moment. I don't really need them. I've got such a large piece of wood. If it was smaller, yes, definitely I'd have them there. I will be using the push blocks as well. So I'm right away and extremely safe. All right, I'll get my little yellow connector here. Now, because I've turned the sound up, you may get a fair bit of sound coming through from the router as well. So I'll give you a fair warning. You can turn things down if you want to. Okay, here we go. Now I can come off that support. Going to do another type of timber, see that? It's dropping down a touch. I'm going to turn it off. I don't think it locked properly. Remember when I hit the lock? I don't think it locked properly. What's happening is it's going down, and I'll wait for it to stop. Yeah, it's dropped a little bit. Unlock. And raise it up. There's no embarrassment there. If you've got something's happening with a router table, you stop straight away. it's not going to ask you for any favors. See the difference here in comparison to here? Beautiful. Just here, it started going on to writing on this instead of the template. See, this template's only 3 millimeters thick. Let's see how we go. I'll move the camera for the second pass. Beautiful. See that? In comparison to that, see all this stuff here? I did so I'll move the camera. I'll move it around that side, so you might get a better view. See, I'm on that pivot point. Little bump there. Gone. This thing out straight away. No one can catch themselves on it. Yeah, definitely. Ha. Right, that's what Bondo's for, right? I'm just having a quick read down the side here. Yeah, okay. So we've got 63 people watching, only 31 thumbs. I'm pushing the thumbs today. Give me a thumbs up and I'll keep doing it. I don't want to whinge. I don't want to, and I'm not going to whinge. Just letting you know, give me a thumbs up and I'm happy. All right, now to separate it, easy. We just lift up. Gotcha. And there's my template. If ever I get the same style gate in exactly the same width, which is never going to happen, so I'll throw these templates away. I don't even know I'm playing around with it. There you go. This is the one I want. Easy. Easy. So it's double demerit points today in Australia. If you're out driving, oh, thank you everyone. Oh, Chris, that's wonderful. But it's the thumbs up on the video, not in the chat, is the thing. So it's double demerits. So if you're speeding and you get caught, you might lose your license. That's for Australia for the Easter long weekend. Anyway, let's have a look at this. Now I need to lay it out. And remember, we wrote join on here. And that's very important because one end of the template may have been slightly different to the other. And seeing I've already made one of the gates and that has got the joint coming up to the top, well, this one has to be kind of mirror reversed and brought up to it as well. Although the other thing, last week when I was making the templates, some people were saying, why not use a piece of yellow tongue or some thin ply to push it around 3 or so different nails? Now that will work, but what I wanted was to have a point of origin for my arcs, and I wanted to reduce the width or the length of that arc by 138 millimeters. So my radius on the outside and on the inside were different because they were working off the same point. If I tried to do this and try and got parallel, I might have fluked it, but using a compass, and that's what I was basically doing, it's just using a compass, it's going to be a little bit more accurate. So it will still give me the 138 right the way through. Now, can you be a real work if you throw templates or scrap away? I get a big box for the templates. No, I'm throwing them away. What I do though, this template, I will keep this one. Do you know why? This one I will rip into 20 mil wide strips and I will dock them off to around about 8 inches long. And they are my stirring sticks for glue or for epoxy, or I use them for stirring paint, and I use them for applying epoxy. They are so handy. Little things like that, you're never going to use it as a template. Just cut it up and store them. I've got a heap over there, and it's amazing how quickly you go through them. Jason, thank you. Is the new iMuffs out to order? Yes, sure are. Go to their website. There's a link, Chris, there's a link in the video description below. Just go down there. There's Reptiler, I think, is the site. Go and place an order. All right. Next thing. This is the important part where I've really got to be thinking. So we have a few things out of the way. This is the top of the gate. This is the bottom of the gate. And remember, the bottom of the gate in this situation has fall because I've got around a 200 millimeter fall across the width of 2 meters. It's 1900 millimeters, but it's close enough to 2 meters. So I have created that fall on this. This is the bottom rail. So you can see it's not sitting flat, it's at an angle. So I've got to make sure that I put it in the right spot. So let me see, I've got that there. I've got this one here. And I've got this one here. And because the gates aren't exactly the same size, the important part is my meeting section, which is 1280 millimeters long. So I need to create a line at this angle across the two stiles because my measurements are to the outsides of the gate, not the insides, not to the length of the rail. It's the outside of the stiles. So I have a sliding bevel, and this is my angle here. So I've already drawn a line here, and I will draw another line when I find my pencil, just here, down at this end, making sure that that's all pushed up. Now, I'm going to leave this part here hanging past the bottom. I'm going to cut that off with the track saw later on. But that's known as a horn. So like bull's horns, it's a horn. And I need to have the other angle, don't I? I want the internal because I'm working from this side. So I'm just going to push the bevel there. I will go to CalCam because it might just be a little bit easier for you to watch what I'm doing. How's that? So this is my internal. This is the acute angle, and I will bring that over to here. and put a mark. Now this is not for anything else. I can move it down just a touch. Perfect. This is where I have to measure from. Remember I said my length is going to be overall. And so I've got 1280, I'd measure from there. If I'd measured from there, I'd be in trouble. The gates would have looked crap and I would have been very upset. I'll move this other camera out of the way while I'm doing this. 1280. Now with measuring, it's an idea to measure from 100, not from the end. You get a far more accurate result. So I'm going from 100, which means instead of 1280, I'm going to measure 1380 out here. So I'm at 100 millimeters there to the edge. 1380 here is there. I'll get the square, put a mark across. I'm treading over dogs. I've got 3 dogs on the floor here right now. My granddaughter's dog's here as well, Zoe's dog. Okay, now I can put that line across. That's the top. So that's the top from where this curve is going to actually finish. Now that hasn't finished rising yet. It's going to roll out. So I'm going to measure the other side and check what distance I've got over there. And it's got to be 980, I think. Again, I'll go 100 millimeters from here. And 1080, I've already got the mark there. Right. Now something isn't quite right. Why is that, David? Why is that? I'm going to have a look at this template just to make sure that that is correct. And it is. Nothing wrong there. Live, you will see what happens as it happens. So that's going to come down. I wanted it to be down here, basically, is where I wanted it to be. Why aren't they lining up? That one there, and that one there, and that one there. All right, look at this. This is the important measurement. This side here, I can work with it. That's not a problem. I will check that again, and I'm going to go outside in a minute and have a quick look at what I've got there. So give me a second. Morning, Mike, how are you? I'll do a measure just without doing the, that's 980 is back here, is correct. And on this one, that one is 1270 there. 1275 is 1280 there. That's correct. Give me a second, I'm going outside to measure it. Measure the other leaf. Touch. Now I'm out slightly somewhere. So now is the time for me to do the detective work. 1280 is correct. So that has to go to there. But we've got the top of the curve. So I'll bring the template over and we'll have a look. And I can draw that curve on from here. Just by putting the template on there and continuing. So that's the top. I won't cut this. So that means I'm going to be around about 14 millimeters higher here than I had anticipated. And I can live with that. That's not an issue. And if I'm only out 14, and it's still coming down, let's see what happens here. Like that. So that's how much I'm out, this part here. That's not too bad, over 2 meters. Let me grab the tape and I'll tell you exactly how far out I am. That is 12 millimeters. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Get rid of that line so I don't get lost. Put that on there. I'm going to put a clamp across the whole lot. While I mark it out. It doesn't have to have a lot of pressure. All I'm doing is making sure these don't slide. That's not going to slide either. Good. I'm going to move that slightly because that's right where I need to put the square. Let's bring it down to there'll be fine. As I said, it's not a lot of pressure. I'm just doing it so it's going to hold it steady. Good. Sharp pencil. I'll bring a couple down. I don't have a clutch pencil at the moment. I've run out of lead, so I'm having to use these guys. Okay, square. I've got to be conscious when I'm creating these centers for the dominoes that the domino doesn't go out the side at all. Okay, so I've got to come back up to about here. And this one can be here. And then just one in the center. Now, David asked me the other week, he said, how are you going to build a gate without a brace? Well, with 3 of these in every joint, there is no way, this thing hasn't got a snowflake's chance in hell of moving. It's stuck there. All right, I'm going to do some marking. A and A. Down here, same kind of thing. Make sure I don't go out the side. One there, there, and center. About there. I also don't want them running into each other. That might be a little close. That's what's going to be in there. So horribly strong. I'm going to bring this one down a little further. There we go. Here. Get rid of this one. Done. Beautiful. Over to the other side. Same kind of thing. And just laying them out carefully. The further apart you get them, the better it is to stop any racking. Yeah, that had me stuffed. And look, if it's 12 mil, it's my gate. I know that's not the attitude I should be taking, but it's the one I'm taking today. About there. It's so important to have the clamp there, because if you bump this at all, the whole thing is going to be out, and you'll be so upset. You'll be going to the glue up and you'll say, what has gone on? Okay, so we're going to call that one A, we'll call this one B, B, C, C, and the last one we're going to call D, D. Ordinarily, it wouldn't make that much difference. Let's come back to this camera. It wouldn't make that much difference ordinarily if it was, well, sorry, let me start that again. I'm doing it from habit. If this was just a level, both the top and the bottom stiles, or rails I should say, were identical, well then I could run into trouble. So apart from doing it this way, I also put A, B, C, and D. So when I come to glue it together, I know that they're all going back to the right spot. Now, I'll do a quick read down here. Hi, Dave. Okay, John, how are you? Well, 96 people, oh no, 66 people watching. I didn't think many people would watch because it's the Easter long weekend, and I thought people would be away with family and, you know, doing the Easter hunt, having fun, being real people instead of woodwork nuts. But anyway, how are we doing? 22. 40 minutes in, we've got the top rail shaped and ready to go. We've got the dominoes all marked out. Now I can take the clamp off. I'll leave it here for the moment. And the next thing I do, it's very important. Well, for me, it's very important. When I take these out, I turn them up and I see the side that I'm going to be putting the domino into. So I want to have a little thing there to remind me, and I do that. So there's where I'm going to be, these are my centers, and then this is where I cut off, and these are where my dominoes are going to go eventually. So here, this is the edge I'm working on. Oh, one other thing, I'll show you in a minute, but this, I'll just do these 1, 2, 3. It does help me line it up. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. And then these guys here, so I'm starting to move them all around, and you'll go, oh, where was I? Where was I? You know, so. Just makes it, only takes a second. It is so important. Like, I'm guessing a lot of you will just say, oh, no, I know where I'm going. Well, good on you. I used to say that too. I'm here to tell you. All right, so now I'm going to swing this around and come back to there. I think that camera is going to be okay there. Let me have a look. A little bit of elevation. That's not too bad there. There we go. All right, dominoing. Move this out of the way, over there with that one. Both out of the way totally. And we're finished with those two guys. Put a few things away, David, as we're going. That and that. The balusters, Go over there, waiting to get cut to length. And the dominoes themselves. Right. Now, how are we going to do this? Possibly, let me see if I've got one of those clamps. I think I've got one over here. I don't know if I've got it set up or not. I don't think it is. It's normally the quickest way to do this. Let me see what I've got here. This might work. I could individually, sorry, camera over here. I could just individually clamp, but these things are really quick. Have I got a 5? Is that the right one? I think it is. Good. Let's say I'm going to do that one there. That could work. Will it work on that? Yep. See how quick that is? A spanner is always a good idea instead of pliers. Back to the audience again. All right, this is 30 mil thick. I've got the domino set to 15. Now on the 500, these measurements here are basically where the cutter is going to be. The other measurement, so on the 500, I think it says the thickness of the timber. So, and then it automatically halves it for you. Something to be aware of. Okay, and we've got the, I think everything's right to go. Google, turn the battery charger on. Well, it's on already, there you go. I like doing that. Hey Google, turn the battery charger off.
Turning the battery charger on.
Is your Google going nuts? Hey Google, turn the battery charger on. It's probably saying, oh, I don't have a battery charger. She'll be saying to you. I like messing with you. All right. I think, oh, that thing's just about full. I should clean that out. I've got it set to 50 millimeters in depth of plunge. These dominoes I made, and I've made them 98, even though setting it to 50 is allowing for the arc on the end of the domino cutter, so it's allowing a little bit past it. Here we go. You know a quicker way of doing mortises for slip tenons? I don't. An amazing machine. It's rocking around a little bit there, David. There we go. That's better. this is where you can see why setting this up was really handy. It speeds things up so much. That's that one there. Done. This one. I'll undo this and just bring it forward. It may have caught on something down there. Nope, all good. This one here, I think. Yep. What is it doing? Now. Ah, interesting. Where's my screwdriver? There. It's catching. Let's see if I can undo it. It's slightly bent off. Now, why is that? Time for the hammer. Bring it back around to here. I'll show you what's happened. I'll come up close. Because this bench is just a little bit deeper than it should be going, what's happened is it's just come down the side there. I'm going to give it a little bit of a tap here just to release it. It's jammed itself. About, well, not on the workpiece. On that, it'll be better. No, still not releasing. I've never had that happen. Don't look, Ian Kerry, if you're watching, I'm going to use a ratchet screwdriver as a device to do that. Hey Pierre, what do you reckon? Well, I'm going to have to work on that a little bit later on in another way. So let me see if I have another one here. I normally have a pair of them. Let's see what happens. This guy. Good. Even better, what I'll do is I'll move that to there and put a dog here. There we go, got that one there. Like so. Lock that, and that's going to stop it lifting. Here we go. Back into it. Nope, too close to the edge. It's got to be further away. That one there. That'll do it. do it off the end there because it's going to go past that. Spin the camera around a little bit. You can see. 1, 2, 3. So the depth of that was starting to hit, and it wouldn't let me in properly. So I just had to be a little bit careful. Actually, was it starting to hit or not? Well, I think it might have been there. Anyway, there we have those ones done. Just do the last one. How does Google understand my strange accent? Well, that's a good question. I'm just going to go this way, see if it works. I don't know. I could ask you the same question. Now, I do know people have smaller domino tenons that they throw in for when they're marking up. So they'll put these slightly loose tenons in. See, these ones are a pretty good fit. I don't want to have to go pulling those out again once I've driven them in. So they're a loose fit and they can pop them in, and then when they do their clamp up, it's easy to pull it apart at the end for their dry fit. But I'm going to work off the pencil lines. Now that one is 1280, which is the long one. I'll come back over to the other camera. A dual dowler. I'm not a fan of dual dowlers. Now why? Why am I not a fan of them? They're further apart. This one, I've got the RTS 500, which is a Seneca product that allows me to use all of the dominoes designed for the Domino 500. So it will allow me to go all the way down to my 4mm cutter. So I bought the set. I bought the box and it came with the 5 cutters. It's the cheapest way to get it. I think it was $200 and something for the whole lot. So you get a whack of each size tenon. You get 4, 5, 6, 8s and 10s, and all 5 cutters in a sustainer. Like, why not? And so that's why I bought the 700. It already had a large cutter with it. I bought the 14, and I've got the 8 as well. I don't have the 10, so that's why I'm using 12s. So that big machine is weighty. Yes, I understand that. The smaller machine is easier to handle, but you've got everything covered you'll ever need. So I don't know. If the price is about the same, I'd go for the more versatile machine. Personally, that's just me, and I know it rolls off the tongue. It's, you know, doesn't sound like a lot, but I've had that machine for nearly 6 years, I think, and it wasn't anywhere near the price they're charging these days. So your call. Right, let's move on. I want to keep moving along with this so we don't get bogged down. So I'll set this up again. That one over there. This one here. Now, I did say I was going to do something. I'll do that right now. Where are you, Pierre? Look out of the way. Glue will stick to this blue primer that comes on these boards, but I get a little piece of sanding paper or sandpaper and I just rough it up in that area like that. The little bit of extra bond, it's all going to help to creating a stronger joint. It really is. You know what, and even if it doesn't, it makes you look like you know what you're doing. Where are you, Pierre? What are you doing? I've lost him. I've got one dog in here now, down a few of the others. Done. So it doesn't take long. And then a rag, of course, to clean it off so I'm not gluing dust. That is that one goes there. These ones, I always do that to shake anything that might have got stuck in there. D to D, C to C. Beautiful. That guy over there. B to B. Now this is also why I use a square when I'm marking out where the dominoes are going to go. Because I'm lining up as accurately as I can. So when it all comes to go together, well, I nearly had a heart attack. I thought, what's going on here? There we go. Beautiful. 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 Now, I'm going to clamp it together again, but this time I'm going to clamp on the outside. So this is where the horns help a little bit as well. You may wonder why I'm going to do that, and I'll explain. Clamp it there and there in a second without putting any pressure on it quite yet. Just a touch, just to hold it so it doesn't spring when I put the other clamp on it. Another clamp. I don't know where my other dog is. And there. Just a little bit. And a little bit. And that's pulling it up. Good. That's not going anywhere. Now, David, that's the answer for you straight away as to we don't really need a brace. For this gate to fail or to even sag, we have, let me see, I've got a tape here. These joins are 135 millimeters base, 138. Let's say they're 140 millimeters each join. There's 4 of them. So it's 400 plus 4 fours is 16. It's 560 millimeters of tenoned, glued joint has to fail to allow any sag at all. All of that, 12 dominoes over 560 millimeters, all have to fail. And that's not going to happen. And we're going to make it even harder than that for it to fail in the next part. So I'm going to go to the overhead camera. Vicky's not doing good way. She's part of the reason I made comment about don't speed over the Easter long weekend. She's fine physically, but not so happy today. And Google understands because My daughter and many others were paid by Google to talk into the microphone for hours. Well, there you go, Tony. There you go. That's an interesting fact. Let me come back over to CarlCam, and you can see it set up there. And the gate is starting to take form. I need to have a quick drink because I'm talking too much. Done. Now, we need 5 balusters. And what I'm going to do is mark this out correctly. Here we have a piece of paper that may or may not be able to be seen by you guys. Now, down in this corner is where I've got the size. 5 balusters gives me 6 spaces. So what I do is I add the thickness of all the balusters up together. So I've got 5 of them at 30 millimeters, 150 millimeters overall. And that's where this, I'll bring it over to this other camera. It's going to be a whole lot easier. If you're trying to work out regular spacing, here we go. I've got 770 millimeters overall, internally. 5 of the balusters times 3 times 30 millimeters is 150. From there, gives me 620 millimeters of space that I have to divide up equally for the other spaces. So I've got 6 spaces, 5 plus 1, 6 spaces into 620, very close to 103 millimeters. Now, ideally, I would say 103 plus 30 is 133. Then I would add those together, 133, 266. And that would be giving me my, actually, total lie there, total lie, back it up. I'll start over this side. We'll go to CarlCam again. So internally, I have 103. Plus, I've got this length here. So let's say 90. I'll write it here. 90 plus 103. And then I can measure from the outside, not the inside. And that will be good because I'm going up at an angle. It works. Give me a sec. 193 is my first mark, which is right there. Cross on that side. That's where the baluster is going to go. Now, then I add 103 and 30 is 133. So I'm going to add that to 193. 133 to 193. 3 is 6, 9 is 12, 326 is my next. And across there. So I should have 30 is here. I should have 103 to the next point. I do. So now I'm going to add 133 again to there. And I'm going to put a little ring around that and around that. 133, 9, 5, 459. Ring around that one. 133, 9, 3 is 12, 4 is 9, 592 is the next one. And it'll cross there. 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces. Circle 592, and then 133 again. Is 5, is 12, is 7, 25. That looks interesting, but the mathematics don't lie. 725, and there's the cross. And that's my last one. And then 30 millimeters for the width of the baluster is there. And let's see what we've got left. I've got a little bit more, I've lost a little bit there somewhere. Why is that? Oh, that wasn't very accurate, that marking there, David. Okay, so it's 106 at the end. I didn't take into account the leftover in that sum. All right. Well, that's going to be all right. We'll go 726 on the last one instead. I'll mark that. Get rid of that one. All right, now I'm going to go up to the other end and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to measure along from this side. All of these marks. 193 is my first, which is there. Next one is 326. Remember, I've written them all down here. 326. And across. I always put the cross on the other side. That's indicating where the piece of wood is going to go. 459. Making sure we're as square as possible. As square as possible off this edge where we put the tape. I don't want to be kind of measuring this way. It's got to be 90 degrees. 592. And the last one, 726. I'll come around this side, it's easier to measure. Right. And across. All right, the next thing I want to do is I want to mark it out for the joinery. So I will get the longest baluster that I have here as a straight edge, and I'm going to put it there and there. So I'm putting on that mark there and on that mark there. Put a line here, one there, and one, oh, great pencil, one there. So that is a mystery to me. I didn't mark 30. That's what it is. My own fault. Let me check that. What do we got? 30 is correct. And then 100, 103. Perfect. I don't know what I was talking about. Forget that. Waste. All right. Again, here, through to there. I'm not using a marking knife. I don't really need to. Yes. She's poor girl. You know what she said to the policeman? I have to laugh. She's going to kill me for telling you guys. You can't speed in this car. It's automatic. It won't let you. And the policeman said to her, well, I've never heard that one. I said to her, honey, where'd you hear that? You told me. No, I don't think I did tell you. No. Oh dear. If you haven't, that is the best excuse I have ever heard. The car won't let me speed. It's automatic. I love her. I'm in trouble. Anyway, so let that be a warning to your children. Electric cars, EVs, on the whole, won't let you speed, but you have to have certain settings in the car to stop it doing it. All right, next thing. They're slightly out, David. What's going on there? I have to have that in the right spot. These have got to be spot on. If they're not, well then my marks I am just pulling it back by pressure on here and then tapping it, and it will pull back. Oh, that's annoying. I've got to move that. I can't. This part is really critical. It's got to be right. There it is. That one's good there too. This is where it's a good idea to have those loose dominoes to make sure nothing moves. All good. All good. All right, I'm going to have a coffee for a second. Well, a Dowling jig is a poor man's domino. Dowels can be just as strong as dominoes, yeah. So these dowels, basically these are a dowel. They're a non-rotating dowel. That's all it is. It's a dowel, but it's non-rotating, and it's twice the width of an ordinary dowel. Like if I had a 12mm dowel, this is going to be twice as strong. This has there a 2-ton snap factor. The smaller dominoes, the 5mm and the 6mm, I think they've got a 1-ton snap factor, but these big fellows, 2 tons to snap them. So that's a lot of force. Maurice, how are you? From Collie. Where is Collie, Maurice? Collingwood, is that down near Melbourne, Victoria somewhere? Anyway, moving on. 1:15. What we're going to do now is these bits of wood. I've already cut the angle on one end, so I've got to angle that way. It's not 90 degrees. You can see it there. The other end I haven't cut yet. So what I'm going to do is, this is the longest one. I'm going to lay them out in their right order, and then I will mark them all, because I have some here that are shorter than others. It's just the stock that I had around. I thought, let's see if I can get out of this without buying any more wood, because this stuff isn't cheap. So I had some stuff in the rack, and because I'm going to prime and seal undercoat and then 2 coats of gloss, I wasn't overly concerned about if I'd cut through the primer. And this one is the last one, other end. Yes. All right. Now, I'm going to mark all of them as to which ones they are. I'll go to the overhead again. No, not that one. There we go. Starting to take form. All right, so this one, what I'm going to do is mark 20, 21, 21, 20. 21, 22, 23, 24, 'Now the reason I'm doing this is that they're all going to identify. When I've cut this, this is the top. I know all the numbers facing up to me is the top of the piece of wood. So it's 24. Now down here, 25, 25, 26, 27, 27, 28, 28, 29, 29. And that's going to help me so much. Now the next step, I'm going to put that in there as a butt. I was thinking about doing domino joins here, but then how the hell do you put it together and then pull the sides in and try and keep it all square? I'm going to try and keep the frame perfect, and then I'll put these in. So what I'm going to do is put a mark where I'm going to cut them off. and I'm coming in around 1/4 inch on each one. And then the last one. I'm going to pocket hole them. This is where a pocket hole is ideal. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut all of these to length. Over on the Capex, won't take me a minute. I could do them all in one hit, but I'm going to do them one at a time. Where are we? That one. No, look, I'm going to make a little noise. I'll turn the laser on the Capex so I can see what's going on. One. Two. Three. Four. Five. All right, now I'll bring them back to the thing and say, put them up. All of the numbers are facing up. I know where they all go. And what I'll do is I'll put it in position. And then I'm going to mark across the end. Like that. This one. This one. Now, if you can't see the pencil marks I'm putting here, that's fine. What I'll do is I'll bring this piece over to you when I pull it all apart again. Remember, this part with the clamps is only for the mark out. And the last one. Oh, come around the other side, David. Stretching like that, I won't be able to line it up properly with my eyes. My poor old eyes. There we go. So these I have to cut out. And it's not that hard. These I don't have to do anything. I'm going to pocket hole and I'm going to pocket hole. Move those over there. Again, if you identify things when you take it all apart, you know where you are. Right. All right, so it's this one. This is the one I've got to cut. So you can see all those bits that I have to cut out. Now we're going to do that on the bandsaw. I think I'll do it on the small bandsaw. It's a little bit easier to maneuver for these little ones like this. I'll grab that other camera. And bring it over here. Maybe about there. Now that I've rearranged the tools in the workshop recently, I found that this system is working quite well. So now to run this small bandsaw, I just drop that around the back. plug it in. And the power to it, rip that one out, is here. Plug her in. Done, 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 done. Okay, I think that's going to work. I've got it locked, sitting nice and steady. Bring this over. Now, let's see if you can see that or not. Possibly come in a little bit more that way. Right, what I want to do is my first cut will be a relief cut. I'm going to come across at an angle on all of these, and I'm going to try and do it on the other side as well, because I'm going to have to, because we've got the spine of the saw, it's not going to be a matter of just being able to cut in perfectly and then come through. So I'd have to do my relief cut first. Let's see how we go. I've still got a dust port open down there, I think. Yep. That's pulling a bit better now. Okay. Okay. So now I have those all cut, but they're not really clean yet. So what I'm going to do now is I'll set the chisel up on that bench over there and use a guide and just clean them off. So I'll bring that other camera over here. And a use for those templates. Hello puppy dogs, how are you? Where are the templates? Over there, give me one. Oop. I'm knocking things all over the place. Right. About there. That worked a whole lot better, didn't it? Just that one, I don't know why. Not to worry. So there we have that, and I need something on top. So I will use this piece. So I'm going to use this as a guide. So I'm going to put that on top there. And then move this. I want something a little wider than that. A little bit wider. What have I got? Got the horns on those, but I can't use those. A little bit wider. Well, I know what I can use. I'll use this. This is the bottom rail. Now, why did I want it wider? So I can get a clamp on it at the back there, just to hold it really steady. I'll grab a clamp to drop in there. As close to that one as possible. And that's pretty good. Chisel. A nice sharp one. Here we go. And I'm going to try doing that. Here we go. It's not going to mess around with me now. Beautiful. It's the first one tidied up. That's rolling off the back of the template. Can't have that. Template's got to go all the way back. There we go, that's better. I'm hoping that first one's good. That's pretty good. Now, Chris, here's something for you to consider. These are cheap chisels. I've had them for many years. I haven't got the super expensive chisels. A sharp chisel is a sharp chisel. That's all. Sharp is sharp. They hold their edge quite well on pine. It's not a problem. On hardwood, I have to muck around a little bit more. But with my clamps, my Bessies, I've got them for life. And they have never slipped or failed on me yet. If I had my time again, I'd still get Bessies. That's just me. Same with the Festool gear. It depends on what you're doing. And what you can afford. Done. That needs a little bit more of a clean, I think. Let me have a look. It's not quite done on that one. That's better. That looks pretty good. Okay, let's go back over to here. Actually, I'll have a quick read whilst I'm over here. Another drink. Look for the sets of clamps. They are good value and cheaper than buying them individually. My pipe clamps, of course, Jeremy, they're fine as well. But buy 2 clamps at a time. Then it's not as much of a sting. That's what I do. I get 2 clamps at a time. It's my last 2 that I just bought. And they're great. 1 clamp on its own is lonely. It's just how it is. All right, what's the next thing? Silly question, what would have been easier? I don't know, Wayne. It's just I had the bandsaw there and it's come up. I'm really happy with it. We're going to do a final fitting. I haven't finished yet, so what I'll do is I will just check the length and everything. And then I've got a hand plane. We're going to fit each individual baluster into its correct spot. That's the next step. And then we'll get the pocket hole jig and hook into that. So I won't go up to Carl Cam for this. I'll just come straight back over to here, line everything back up where it was. That's looking pretty good. And I'll put the clamps back on so it doesn't move around. Now you can see why I put the clamps on the outside. That'll be fine there. Just move that up a touch. But you don't have to get Bessie's, Chris. You don't have to get them. It's your call, whatever you can afford to do. But I find that if I can get the best quality, and it's not saying Bessie's are the best quality, I'm just saying if I can get the best quality for a reasonable price and I can afford to do it, I'll do it. That's all there is to it. It's like anything in life. I love this stuff. I love it. Now, again, everything is marked 24, 29. Let's see how we go. Will that drop in? Oh, that's dropped in quite nicely. And there. And 28, 23. That way. That doesn't even need easing. 25, 20. There's that one down there. Good. And 26, 27, or 21 I should say. That one's gone in quite nicely too. And then the last one is there. I didn't have to ease any of them. They've all gone in nicely. Now I'm going to be using epoxy. I'm going to be using Technoglue. So Technoglue does have a space filling capacity. I'll move that up there. Okay, so that's, have a look. I'll give you a look from up the top. But you can see it's looking pretty nice. Exactly right. That's the other thing you can do. Get them at a staff discount for a part-time job. Chris, go and get a job at Carpetech. Brilliant. All right, we might just go straight to the pocket hole jig. And I don't know, about there, I guess. Let's see how that's looking. But still, get them two at a time. It's looking all right, isn't it? Yeah. Well, I'm not a fan of the Irwin clamps. Chris, I'm going to fill them with West System. But let me get to that stage. Camera 4. Tip it up just a touch. All right, I'll get the dust extractor. Now I've used, a lot of people have had issues with getting a dust extractor that'll fit this, sorry, a fitting that'll go into this fitting here. This is a grey water fitting that I found at Bunnings that was just a little rubber grey water fitting. And it fits on there absolutely perfectly. I'm going to bring the dusty around a little bit closer. Because I don't want to spin it out and have to kind of fuss all over the place. That one goes into there. Beautiful. This is the K5. I like the K5 jig. I'm not a fan of the new jigs that Craig have got out. They just don't seem to do it for me. I don't know why they walked away from the K5 and the K4. This is a great clamp. Great jig. I've got a little stop on the end here. This little guy here, there's a couple of little spots here. This is to help center the spindles when I'm putting the pocket holes in. Now I will be putting the pocket holes in the one side. I'll be putting them all on the low side of the remember the rails going this way? Because as I tighten the pocket hole up, it's going to push in and just make it nice and tight. So I'm going to put them both on that side, and Chris asked earlier how I'm going to get rid of the holes. I will turn the whole gate up sideways and I will pour resin in with the gate sitting up sideways after I've done a few more steps. I won't be doing that today. I will be clamping the gate and leaving it set flat on the bench. I'm not going to start lifting it up and twisting it. Bad move. So that will be that next step, Chris. All right, so that is there on the low side, which means that goes in here and there, and push down on the clamp, and that's it. It's so easy. I'll grab the others while I'm here because I'll whip through these pretty quickly. All right, turn her on. Here we go. Making sure I'm on the right side. That one there. On the pushing side, yes, that's correct. Pushing that way, there we are. That side there. That side there. Now I had set the jig up prior. Basically that's 30 mil thick. I've set it up to 32 millimeters on the side of the block here. There's a little clamp, you can put it to whatever size you need to. That's your thickness of the material. And then the drill I set for the length of the screw, which I just dropped it in the other guide that I had. Actually, what I did, tell a lie, I set it in here, pull this out, down to 32. And then I put the drill in until the tip touched the base, or very close to it. I'll show you what I mean. So there's the little stop that I had that locates everything, and there's the drill just touching the base. And that's it. So you adjust this collar with an Allen key. I keep all the tools in here. That one's not opening. Let me see if they're in the other side. Nope, not in there. Yeah, Allen keys are in here. And then I throw the drill bit in there as well. This dropped onto there, and I pushed the timber up against that while it was in there, like so. Hit the clamp, and then drilled. This guy here will live in this side. It's all mounted on a board that's got the same hole pattern as my benches have got, and I've used the GSO hold downs. They're little, I forget what they call them, but they're a dog that locks two pieces of 3/4 together, 3/4 and 3/4, or slightly less, or maybe just a little bit bigger. That's 18. I think this one's 22, and it works. Only just, but it works. All right, so that's that part. Now we go over here, and let's see. I'll do another read. Yeah, K5's brilliant. Woodward did a great video on clamps. Check it out for the good information. That's a great tip. Okay. Smart dogs. Okay, thanks, Carl. All right. Where are we? More coffee. Coming up to 2 hours. I told you it'd be about 3 hours. Now we're ready for the glue. We are indeed. So I'm going to undo these clamps and take them off. All right, if you're getting lazy and you haven't hit the thumbs up yet, please do it. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. What will happen is you will get a, if you subscribe, click on that button wherever it is in the corner, and it's got click here to subscribe. It's written in that corner down there, I think. Subscribe, click on the button again, and a thing will come up with a little bell icon, and it'll give you 4 options. And the top one, it says notify all. So what will happen is next time I do a show or I release a video, you will get a little email or a notification somehow saying Dave's going live, or Dave's just released a video on how to do a hinge, or how to use the Sorby Pro Edge, or the bobbin sander over there, spindle sander, whatever you want to call it. All the stuff that I do, and I'm trying to get back into it again. I have had a period where there hasn't been much of the how-tos, but there's a reason. I will release that information next week as to why there's going to be more content coming up. And it's some pretty important news as far as I'm concerned as well. So you'll find out that I'll release a video on what I'm doing moving forward. So hit the subscribe if you haven't done so. Thumbs up, and don't forget to ring that bell. Thanks, Chris. All right, now I'm going to use Technoglue. It's a 2-to-1 mix, and put the dominoes in. We'll clamp the thing together, and then we'll put the spindles in individually, and then that'll be the end of the show. So I'll hook in over here, bring some stuff over. That's the Technoglue. And I did mention before, don't throw little pieces of ply or MDF away. These are brilliant. One for resin, one for hardener. Stir it all up, and then I use this also to apply. All right, first of all, we shall put glue some tenons into the rails first. I like to do it that way, and then I can stand the whole job up on a rail, stand it up and then tap it down, and then put the other rail on top and then lay it down to clamp it up. Now another suggestion is if you have clamps underneath, use baking paper over the spine of the clamp and it stops the glue getting all over it. Now I'll be able to identify where they are pretty quickly when I start gluing. So that's what I'll be doing. Gloves are always a handy item to use. I use these little nitrile gloves. Don't blow in them. If moisture goes in, your hands will stick. So they've already got powder inside them that lets them go fine. All right, what have I got over here? A couple of boards. Okay, here's another board that I haven't cut up yet. I'm going to use that as my palette for mixing the glue up on, and my screwdriver that still works, I hope. There it is. This is one I just gave a bit of biff to during the show. I throw the resin on first. So this is where you have double quantity of the resin. So that's how much resin I've thrown on there. And you might think, wow, that's a lot. Well, I might have some left over, but I don't really want to go mixing it up at the end, halfway through a glue up. That's can get a bit messy. It'll work, but you know, it's better to go through in one mix. If you mix too much up, it'll get hot and go off real quick. Same kind of thing happened with the West system the other week. The hardener sometimes has a little bit of discoloration in spots, and it might be a little bit juicy. This is when you first get it. I always go in and stir the hardener all the way up inside like this. So it's more consistent. I don't know what the different colors mean or if they mean anything, but we're going in at a 2-to-1. The hardener is the single part. Like honey almost. There we go, that'll do. When you start stirring it up, it becomes less inclined to run off the edge. A larger board probably would have been good. Scrape it up and move it around as much as you can. You don't want a part in there that hasn't been mixed, because that might be the crucial part that you're using to glue, and you go, oh, what? But technically you don't have to go crazy. Basically it's araldite. If you remember what araldite is, or still is, it's basically what this epoxy is. It's a brand name, it's like Band-Aid, Elastoplast, all that kind of stuff. Don't mess with the brand names. That's good, it's ready to go. Okay, now we're going to put the tenons in first. I'm going to move this out of the way and put it on there. All right, so a little bit on the tenon and where are you? And you can see by the squeeze out, I didn't need to put too much in. And also this tenon's a nice tight fit on purpose. So I will grab some of that glue off there and put it into the hole of the next one. And a little bit of glue on this one. Now with the glue, if you can get it on the top and here, so as it's going in, it forces the glue to go up the sides. Now with my tenons, when I make the tenons, see that little groove there? That's basically a glue slot. So you'll have those on dowel. I make them on purpose on my tenons. When with the roundover cutter, I set it a little bit proud of the bench and the router table, and it puts that slot in there for me. There we go. I've got one. That's one joint ready to go. Man, these things are strong. No need for a diagonal brace, David. I also create a bit of a round over on the edge. I take them over to the disc sander when I make them. Just create a little bit of a, like I did with the pencil sharpener on when I did that hinge. Get some on the floor, don't panic. Unless, of course, it's in the kitchen or in the lounge room. Then you're in trouble. Okay, that's 6 of them done. And this is why I've got the tarpaulin here as well on the bench. Save a lot of mucking around in tidying up. One left, there we go. Now the rest of the glue we're going to use in the other parts with the balusters. So nothing to be wasted really. Ideally, if I wanted to, I guess I could have set them up in the Stanton bench vertically and then just tap them in on the top. But this is fine. Now in Australia, they've got an event coming up called Wood Dust. I don't know, is anyone going or not? It's a little bit far for me to travel. I think it's down in Victoria somewhere. I've seen a lot of people making comment that they think it's expensive. Yeah, I don't know, what are your thoughts? Tongue compressors also work great for making sticks. Yes, they do, but they cost you money. This one, I just, like, I have no opinion really. I'm just curious as to what people think. Unless you're a doctor or a dentist, I guess. Wally? I find this very satisfying. When it works. If it doesn't work, it's extremely frustrating and stressful. And some people will be saying, Dave, why didn't you do a dry fit to start? Well, we'll find out soon, won't we? That's what I was talking about earlier at the beginning of the show, where some people have tenons made that are small, just slightly small, so they can put them in and tap them out pretty quickly, so that they can check everything's going to work when it comes to the real McCoy, come to actually using the glue. But I think we'll be right. Using the Techniglue, I think, is giving me a little bit of leeway. Now I'm going to put the glue on the actual tenons now. They'll have already copped it from the... so put it on both sides. So one side to start. Around the... what am I talking about, David? They've already got glue around the end grain of the actual rail from the squeeze out. So we haven't got to worry too much, but there will be a fair bit of squeeze out when we do this next part, when we put the clamps on. And I want squeeze out. If you don't have squeeze out, you haven't got enough glue in there. I'll just pull it around the rest of the end grain there. And the other one. Yeah, so you definitely do not use a brush for this stage. A little spatula like this, or a tongue depressor, as Wally mentioned earlier, is a good idea. All right, I'm going to put that one just across the end there to sit while I do the others. Yeah, some of the courses seemed a little bit pricey. You know, I don't know. I said I saw someone say, oh, you can get all the information you want off YouTube for free. No, I'm going to make a comment about YouTube and what people think you actually earn from YouTube. The video that I did on how to make a hinge took me a long time to nut it out and refine it and then do it. And so then I actually had to create the video and edit. And I told you I did it 3 times until I was happy with it. Because if I give out a video that, you know, people go, what are you talking about, Dave? Well, then it's detrimental. You know how much money I've made from that on YouTube? Have a guess. I want you guys to throw up some figures there and let me know how much you think I've made off that one video. I'm curious to see what you guys think. And then I'll tell you. Did I need a blanket box? Not really. Did I need to make a wooden hinge? Not really. I could have been out doing things with the family, yes. I'm not whinging, I'm just curious as to see what you think. Nearly there. Done. I'll bring that one around the end. And then this one over here. And then this one over here. That way. That there. I'm going to take the gloves off for a minute. This is where I'm talking about using baking paper. I'll open the clamps up and wind them back so that there's plenty of room for movement. And movement. And this is B and C. They're going to go on this side. I'll bring this one down so it's almost in line with that. And then this one will be coming up a little further. And that's A and D. They're going there. About there. Okay, baking paper. One, two. This stuff's pretty cheap. Just in the aisle at Woolies. I'll come over and have a look in a second if you've got your answers already, children. I'm a cheeky bugger. Okay, now I'm going to tip this sideways and I'm going to put some glue right across the end. Not a lot. Just coating it. Because they like wet on wet is what they say. And that one over there. Derek will know because I've told him. Okay, so this one is A to A. Let's see how we go. And push. Beautiful. And that one, this is D and D. And that one, I'm going to put it on the floor, like that, and bring this one over. Block of wood and Thor's hammer. It's all right, Nessie. Dog's panicking. It's going beautifully. Okay, in the clamps. All right, down this end as far as possible. And straight. Whoop, not over the edge, David. There we go. And in. This one. Up to there. And in. Okay, and slowly. Oh, I think we need to go to Carl Camp for this one. Yep. Okay. Wally, $150. Wayne, 10. Mike, 15. Kyle, 100. Chris, 50 to 60. A KFC burger if you're lucky, John, $5. It was $11.78. There you go. This is why I say give me a thumbs up, try and get my numbers up if you can, and also if you can support me on Patreon. It's lovely. $1.50. You just do it because you love it. Very close to it, David. Very close. Very close. Let's go to Carl Cam and we'll watch it from up there. Yeah, $11 something. Crazy. Okay, watching. And over there. See the squeeze out? I love it. And I'm going to squeeze this one up as well because I don't want to go skew out of parallel or out of square, I should say. Up she comes. This one. Beautiful. Now you'll notice that this is open still because I'm forcing it big time here. So I'm going to get another clamp. Yeah. And a little bit of paper there. And bring it back towards me so I can put my hand on this side, the clamps on the side here. And back that one off. I'll leave that out of the way, I think. And come along further. Oh, that's pulling up nicely. Whoa, very nice. And this one, so we don't lose it, back that off, push her in, take up for the slack that we just created. So because I've got this thing happening here, I'll pull it back in a little bit so you can see it. Because this is happening, I've got pressure on the top and I've got pressure down here. I really do need to put another clamp there, but this is going fine. I don't want to pull it too tight. What I might do is I might flip this clamp over sideways because I'm getting some spring. Put this over that. $150, eh? If only. That's better. That's pulling it up evenly now. There, but I've still got to maintain the pressure on this and another one there so I don't roll this and open the joint down there. This one's really easy. But that curly one's a curly one. I squeezed out just a little bit more then. Did you see that? Just a little bit more squeeze out there. This is good. This is good. I'll give it a bit more. Oh, that's nice. Beautiful. Now, well, I'll pull that glue off and put it on the spatula because we're going to use it to put these other things in the pockets. Put the pocket hole screws in with it. Very, very nice. Very nice. Moment of truth with this one. And this one. I like that. Beautiful. What do you reckon? I think that's a nice joint. Okay, next thing to do is the pocket holes. The screws in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and some glue. Put them in their right position. 28, 29, 25, 27, other way around, 26. See, if I had written 5 and 5, I would not have known which end when I just quickly grab it. I know now that that's got the stuff on it, so that's fine. Now the other thing I'm going to do is a little tricky, and that is put a clamp on here already before I even start. That's going to line it up for me. I'll throw a few up. Without them getting in the way of the other one. Now these have got a surface on them that's not going to worry if it gets a little bit of glue on it. It's not going to worry it at all. Oh, that's a pain. Might work. We'll see. I can always move it later on. So basically, it just gives it something to sit on as I push in. Right, screws. Here. The 2-inch that I'm using, and the driver. This is a little Craig screwdriver that I filed the end and spun it in the lathe and cut a slot so that it goes into my Centratec fitting. I'm cheeky, aren't I? Okay. Not many people making comment at the moment. You're all fascinated on what's happening, hey? All right, next thing. Glue, of course. And we'll start with the bottoms, I think. So I'll put glue on here. And also up the top. Well, actually what I'll do up the top there is I'll just put some glue in the joint. All the way around. I haven't sanded these because, you know, I don't think there's as much required of these. In you go, come on. Okay. That's all right, just drop down, I don't care. The other thing I'm going to do is put a clamp on this side so it doesn't go sliding when I put the screw in, because that glue is going to make it very slippery. Like so. That should work. Let's see what happens. Screw.
Oh yeah, I've checked, and it also works with the dogs as well. Gotcha. See the squeeze out? Beautiful. Gotcha. There we go. That's the first one. Nice. And nice. Down to the next one. Glue. Get in there, like so, and then around to there, 2 screws. And this one. Done. And this is the one I was having a little bit of difficulty with. With the clamp across being in the way a little bit. There and there, but I think we'll be okay. Whoop, no, relax it, David. There we go. And then this one, that'll hold it. Can you imagine the trouble I would have had if I went to Domino all of these joins? Oh, I didn't put the clamp in. Let's do that. That's pretty important. Right at the end, it'll pull tight. And I don't want it to stuff me up. Back on the line. See that? Just pulls in. I'll put it over here just to remind me, so I don't have to remember next time. Just do it. Down that end. There we go. In. Beautiful. I think I'll work from the other side for the rest of it. Yeah, this is going to be a magic gate. If you've seen the other one I've already done, they're beautiful. I love them. That's why I said, sexy gate. I reckon they are a sexy looking gate. Vicky asked one of the kids, do you reckon Dad's gates are a sexy looking gate? Oh yeah, definitely. So I think, well, no, I think it was kind of lost on her a little bit. She likes them, but whether or not she thinks they're a sexy gate's another story. But, you know, what do we let criminals make comment? Oh dear. Oh, she's not really a criminal. But officer. I'm just making it worse, aren't I, Wayne? Oh, Beautiful. I'll clean all these off very soon. Gotcha. Come on, back on the end of this one. Ahead. There we go. And pull tight. The last one, and then we'll do a little bit of cleaning off. I'll have a bit of a read. I'm going to be in a bit of trouble here. I don't think I'm going to be able to get it like that, so I'm going to have to relax that, which is a shame. I don't want to relax it for too long. Get back in there. There we go, and tighten it back up again. Not overly, just to take it back to where it was. So today, if you didn't know how to before, you do know now how to create equal spacing. How to make your own dominoes, if you want to. I'm going to get stuck with this again, aren't I? It's going to be right in the middle of it. Take it off for the moment, David. Just for a short moment. Pop it in. Use a pattern following bit with a compression cutter. Oh, it's a bit open there, but that's all right. We have epoxy and we have dust. In glue and dust we place our trust. A little bit of epoxy there, thank you. That's dropped a little bit. That's going to annoy me while I'm sanding, but anyway, that's the way it goes. These ones are good. Beautiful. I don't need to check it for square because those are perfect, and I already have the other gate fitted. And so what I can do there is, because the other gate's fitted and the post is on the wall already, like I've got a half post there to mount it on so it looks, like it should be there. What I'll do is I will pop it in and then I'll see if it's out at all. I've got around about 4 millimeters I have to plane off, and I've done that on purpose. So I can then just adjust the gate in the space that's there and plane it and then put the hinges on. I'm using strap hinges and they're being face mounted, face on the post and also face mounted on the gate. I made sure that the posts were dead plumb up and down, so it's not going to be automatically opening or automatically closing. These are little important things that you need to know. Nice, good looking gate. John, for those who can not afford Domino, the beadlock from Rockler, yes. Cole, there's that feel-good moment again. Indeed there is, Cole, indeed there is. That's going to be a lovely gate. What I'll do during the week is I will put a post on Instagram or on Facebook with it up. The next thing to do now after it comes out of the clamps is I'll get my trimmer and I'll put the 1/4 inch round over in it, and I'll go around the whole thing on the inside. The next thing is sand, obviously, get it sanded. Cut the horns off, shape this horn here to work how I want it to, and that one as well. Then 1/4 inch round over the whole lot on the inside, then take it out, fit it, mark where I've got to plane some off. I don't want to plane it all off one point, because something going from 90 down to 86 millimeters, your eye will see it straight away. So I need it to be 90 to 88 and 90 to 88 on the other side if I've got 4 mil that I've got to take out. So that's why I'm going to actually fit it. That's why the other one's already up. So I'll move it around. Actually, I won't even cut that bottom horn off in the middle yet. I'll cut the top one off. And when I fit it, if I have to keep that horn down a little bit or just fudge it with a little bit of a 2 or 3 mil tapered down from straight, I'll do it. Because little things like that, where the gates meet, if it's like that, it's going to be obvious. If it's like that, it's not going to be as obvious. You see what I mean? Like if there's a little bit of a bend here, won't be as obvious. So there we go. We're not going to have the Patreon chat after the show, but as I said, if you do want to think about helping me out, and I keep on saying to people, I've got all the gear, but I still need to eat. That's one of those things. And I will be making an announcement next week about something that's very important. And wait for that, and you'll understand why I'm talking the way I am at the moment. All right, there we go. So that is that. It's past. We've got a 2.5 hour show. I think that's probably a record. Look after yourselves. Be nice to each other, and I shall see you all next week. Let me see, where's the close the show? Here it is.